Vietnam is not a country you simply visit. It is a place you slowly decode. At first glance, it feels familiar. Busy streets, street food, smiling faces. But beneath that surface lies something harder to name, something quietly powerful. Vietnam moves fast, yet thinks deep. It carries scars, but never bitterness. Here, history is not locked in museums. It breathes in daily life. This video is not about landmarks or checklists. It is about uncovering why this country feels so alive, and how a nation shaped by struggle learned to move forward without losing its soul. Street food and coffee culture, where life begins on the sidewalk. In Vietnam, the story of the country often begins at street level. Not inside restaurants, not behind polished doors, but on sidewalks, where plastic stools sit inches from the flow of everyday life. Street food here is not a trend or a performance. It is routine, it is necessity, and more importantly, it is memory. A bowl of pho in the early morning is not just breakfast. It is a ritual shared silently between strangers. A banh mi eaten standing on the curb carries the pace of the city itself. Fast, practical, and unpretentious. Vietnamese cuisine does not try to impress through excess. Instead, it persuades through balance. Fresh herbs against rich broth, crunch beside softness, heat softened by acidity. Everything has a place, and nothing overwhelms. Coffee belongs to this rhythm just as naturally. In Vietnam, coffee is not consumed. It is inhabited. A small cup of strong coffee, slowly melting over ice, can hold an entire afternoon. Egg coffee feels almost indulgent, yet remains deeply rooted in simplicity. Sidewalk cafes are not about efficiency or luxury. They are about pause, about watching life pass while being part of it. This is where conversations begin without introductions, where time stretches quietly, where the country reveals its first clue. Vietnam does not separate daily survival from pleasure. It blends them. And once you notice that, everything else starts to make sense. Traffic, the pulse of the city. If food and coffee introduce Vietnam, traffic explains it. At first encounter, the movement of millions of motorbikes feels overwhelming. Intersections seem to operate without clear rules, yet somehow without chaos. To an outsider, it looks impossible. To those who live here, it is instinct. Vietnamese traffic is not governed by strict order, but by awareness. Every rider reads the flow, adjusts in real time, negotiates space moment by moment. There is trust in this system, quiet unspoken trust that everyone is paying attention. Progress happens not by stopping the flow, but by moving with it. Crossing the street becomes a lesson. You do not wait for silence. You step forward calmly and allow the city to move around you. Panic breaks the rhythm. Confidence restores it. In this small act, Vietnam reveals another layer of itself: resilience through adaptation. Traffic is often framed as a problem to be solved. In Vietnam, it is a reflection of life itself: dense, energetic, unpredictable, yet remarkably functional. It mirrors a society that learned long ago how to move forward under pressure, not by force, but by flexibility. And once you understand that rhythm, the city no longer feels loud. It feels alive. Hospitality and the quiet language of smiles. After the streets and the movement, Vietnam reveals itself through its people. Not in dramatic gestures, but in small, repeated moments that carry weight. A smile offered without curiosity. A stranger who walks you halfway to make sure you do not get lost. A cup of tea placed in front of you before any questions are asked. Vietnamese hospitality is rarely loud. It does not announce itself or seek recognition. Instead, it appears naturally, almost instinctively. In cities and villages alike, kindness is woven into routine. Help is given not because it is expected, but because it feels normal. There is also a particular optimism here, shaped by history, but not defined by it. People move forward with a quiet acceptance of hardship, without dwelling on complaint. Laughter often arrives where it should not, and resilience hides behind casual conversation. You sense it in markets, in family homes, in roadside encounters that last only minutes, but stay with you far longer. This way of welcoming others reveals something essential. Vietnam does not position itself as a place to be admired from a distance. It invites you inward. It asks you to sit down, slow your pace, and participate. And in doing so, it gently dissolves the boundary between visitor and local. Patriotism as a shared emotion, football, flags, and collective memory. To understand Vietnam's sense of unity, you have to witness it at a moment when emotion leaves private spaces and moves into the streets. More often than not, that moment arrives through football. When the national team plays, everyday routines pause, cafes fill, sidewalks become viewing rooms. For a few hours, attention narrows, and millions of people focus on the same unfolding story. But football is only the spark. What follows reveals something deeper. As celebrations begin, the national flag emerges naturally, carried on motorbikes, draped over shoulders, waved from balconies. It is not planned, and it is not performative. The flag appears because people have been waiting for a reason to bring it out together. Streets fill in an instant. Motorbikes surge forward in joyful convoys. Chants of Vietnam vô địch echo through the night. Red and gold banners turn avenues into rivers of color. Pots and pans become drums. Laughter mixes with cheers, and the city pulses as one living celebration, known locally as Đi Bao, a storm of shared pride that sweeps through without warning. Vietnamese patriotism does not need constant display. It lives quietly beneath the surface, embedded in shared history and lived experience. When the moment feels right, like after a hard-fought AFF Cup victory or a dramatic SEA Games comeback, that feeling rises all at once. The red flag becomes a symbol of release, of pride affirmed collectively rather than individually. What makes this powerful is its simplicity. Love for the country here is not declared daily, it is understood. And when it finally surfaces, it does so with clarity, sincerity, and an intensity that belongs not to one person, but to everyone sharing the street at that moment. History and endurance, a nation shaped by resistance. Vietnam's history is not something you study from a distance. It is something you step into. It lies beneath city streets, survives in old walls, and echoes in the way stories are shared across generations. This land was not shaped by a single turning point, but by repeated cycles of challenge, survival, and renewal. What defines that history is not the scale of conflict, but the consistency of endurance. Time and again, Vietnam faced forces stronger, larger, and better equipped. And time and again, it adapted. Not through grand declarations, but through persistence. Hardship is neither glorified nor ignored. It is acknowledged, absorbed, and quietly folded into the present. This attitude becomes clear in places where history is preserved without spectacle. These sites do not overwhelm with grandeur or dramatization. They invite pause. They encourage reflection, not only on what was lost, but on what was rebuilt afterward. There is dignity in that restraint, and a deep respect for survival as an achievement in itself. Perhaps most striking is the absence of bitterness. The past is remembered, lessons are carried forward, yet daily life remains focused on what comes next. Vietnam offers a rare example of historical consciousness without emotional captivity, a nation that remembers deeply but refuses to be defined by pain. Cultural diversity. Many identities, one shared ground. Vietnam is often described as a single culture, but that description begins to unravel the moment you look closer. Beneath the national identity lies a complex mosaic of communities, each shaped by its own language, traditions, and relationship to the land. These differences are not symbolic. They are lived daily, carried through routine, ceremony, and memory. In the northern mountains and the central highlands, culture remains closely tied to ancestry and environment. Seasonal festivals follow agricultural cycles. Traditional clothing signals origin, belonging, and continuity. Stories are passed down not through books, but through voice and practice, preserving knowledge that exists beyond written record. Yet these cultures are not sealed off. They interact constantly with the wider country, adapting while retaining their core. What makes this diversity remarkable is not its scale, but its cohesion. Vietnam does not demand uniformity from its people. Difference is allowed to exist within shared borders, connected by common history and mutual recognition. Unity here is not built on sameness, it is built on coexistence. This balance becomes visible through living traditions, music, performance, ritual, that continue to evolve rather than remain frozen in time. Cultural expression is not confined to museums or ceremonies alone. It appears in village gatherings, communal celebrations, and everyday life, carrying the past forward without isolating it from the present. As Vietnam moves further into modernity, this negotiation grows more complex. Tradition and progress meet daily, sometimes in harmony, sometimes in tension. Still, the commitment to cultural continuity remains strong. It reflects a deeper understanding. A nation's strength is not measured by how similar its people are, but by how carefully it holds its differences together. Natural landscapes, the geography that shapes a nation. Vietnam's landscapes are often called beautiful, but beauty alone does not explain their power. Here, geography is not decoration. It is a force, one that has quietly shaped movement, survival, and identity over generations. Mountains, rivers, forests, and seas do not sit behind daily life. They shape it. In the north, terraced rice fields turn steep mountains into deliberate patterns, revealing a way of thinking rooted in patience and long-term balance. Each season transforms the land, yet the relationship remains constant, human effort responding carefully to natural limits. Along the coast, limestone formations rise from the water with a calm presence, creating spaces that feel ancient rather than dramatic, as if time itself has slowed. Beneath the surface, Vietnam opens further. Vast cave systems stretch deep underground, holding rivers, chambers, and darkness on a scale that challenges familiar ideas of space. These hidden worlds remind us that much of the country's story is not immediately visible. Depth here matters as much as distance. As the land extends southward, mountains soften into coastlines and open horizons. Long stretches of shoreline meet the sea without urgency, offering moments of stillness where land and water negotiate gently. Beaches are not simply places of rest, but boundaries where movement slows and perspective widens. What connects these environments is not spectacle, but constraint. The land demands adaptation. It rewards those who listen and resists those who try to dominate. Over time, this relationship has shaped a culture that values balance over conquest and endurance over speed. Standing within these landscapes, a quiet realization emerges. Vietnam did not grow in spite of its geography. it grew because of it. And once that connection becomes clear, the land no longer feels distant. It feels deeply, unmistakably personal. Life on the water, the Mekong Delta, and the art of flow. If the mountains teach endurance, the south teaches flexibility. In the Dongbang Song Kulong, water is not an obstacle to overcome. It is the foundation of daily life. Rivers replace roads. Boats serve as homes, shops, and livelihoods. Movement here follows the current rather than resisting it. Floating markets begin before sunrise, when the river is still quiet and commerce unfolds without urgency. Goods are exchanged boat to boat, guided more by trust and familiarity than by speed. Houses line canals, rising and falling with the water level, adjusted season by season. Life adapts continuously, without drama. There is a calm intelligence to this way of living. The Mekong Delta does not rush. It responds. It accepts change as part of its structure, not a disruption. In doing so, it offers a different definition of resilience, one rooted in cooperation with nature rather than control. Watching life unfold here invites reflection. In a world increasingly shaped by rigid systems, what might we learn from a place that survives by staying fluid? The Ao Dai, elegance as cultural memory. In the middle of Vietnam's constant movement, there are moments of stillness. Few images capture that pause more clearly than the Ao Dai. Flowing, restrained, and quietly confident, it is not designed to command attention, yet it always does. The Ao Dai is more than traditional clothing. It is a visual language shaped by history, climate, and cultural values. Its form reflects balance between structure and softness, visibility and modesty. Worn by students, teachers, professionals, and brides, it moves seamlessly between generations, adapting without losing its essence. What makes the Ao Dai enduring is not nostalgia, but relevance. It continues to exist not as a costume for ceremonies alone, but as part of daily life. In a modern city, seeing its silhouette pass through traffic or along a quiet street creates a subtle contrast. It reminds us that progress does not require erasure. Preservation can coexist with change. Through the Ao Dai, Vietnam expresses a deeper idea. Identity does not need to be loud to be strong. Sometimes the most powerful symbols are those that endure quietly, carried forward by choice rather than obligation. A country in motion, Vietnam today and the road ahead. Vietnam today moves with remarkable speed. Cities expand upward, technology reshapes daily habits, and global connections grow stronger each year. Yet this acceleration does not feel detached from the past. Instead, it unfolds alongside it. Glass towers rise near weathered neighborhoods. Startups operate within walking distance of ancient temples. Old customs persist not because they are protected, but because they remain meaningful. This coexistence creates tension at times, but also energy. Vietnam is not trying to replicate another model of modernity. It is shaping its own. What defines this moment is confidence. The country is no longer asking to be understood through history alone. It looks forward, aware of its roots, but not confined by them. Growth here is pragmatic, ambitious, and deeply human. As this journey comes to a close, one truth becomes clear. Vietnam is not defined by a single image, experience, or narrative. It is defined by motion, by its ability to absorb change without losing coherence. To understand Vietnam is not to memorize facts or landmarks. It is to recognize a nation that continues to evolve while carrying its soul intact. Vietnam is not a place that reveals itself all at once. It leaves its strongest impressions quietly through daily moments, shared spaces, and the rhythm of life unfolding in real time. From its streets and landscapes to its history and people, every layer connects to something deeper than tourism. What stays with you is not just what you see, but how the country makes you feel. Grounded, curious, and unexpectedly understood. Have you been to Vietnam? If you have, what moments stayed with you long after you left? And if you haven't, perhaps it is time to come. Not to collect destinations, but to experience a country that continues to move forward without losing its soul.